Well, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. This is not it's not going to be a good broadcast because what I am doing and what I know the rest of you are doing, because I get emails, messages, texts, everything, and I'm just buried in it along with everyone else. We're buried in evil and the desire to destroy everything. I don't want to be negative Nicholas, but lying to ourselves, pretending it's not all that bad, pretending it's just a little evil, not evil enough, right? No, it's incredible amounts of evil. We expose it because it's not going to go away. It's not going to stop. It's not like they're going to go, oh, we hit our evil limit. We can relax again and take it down a couple of notches. No chance, especially when the people in charge that are committing acts of evil are successful. They get away with it. They're like, fuck it, let's do some more. The essence of SHTF. We all see it coming. Shouldn't we be able to avoid it? Well, we do. But those that are pushing for it, they're not going to stop because they want it. They need it. They love it. They love evil and seeing shit going downhill. So all of our efforts, oh shit has hit the fan. I'm going to call my politician. I'm going to write an email. I'm going to text everyone I know and tell them to wake up, and that'll fix it. How many years have we been doing that? Our successes, though, are real. We have woken ourselves up. We have helped each other understand. We've even helped people, friends, family, coworkers, even people we don't like have learned from us because they're exposed to what we're talking about. Even though they don't want to believe it, they're exposed to it, and it's got to help on some level, even if it's microscopic. But we haven't changed and can't change the big picture of evil. Apparently, that's not our battle to win and fight. Apparently, sadly. But I am not going to stop because exposing evil is what I do. And I am now going to expose the evil, the genocide and the war profiteering that is going on in Ukraine. And I want everyone to understand that same evil genocide and war profiteering is going on in Gaza. It's going to go on in Taiwan with China. It's going to go on in whatever form it takes between North and South Korea. It's going to go on everywhere on the planet. It's going to get nasty. But exposing evil, genocide, and war profiteering, Putin in one day is going to do more than you and I have done in the last decade. Let me tell you what the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, has done. Are you ready for this? And oh, by the way, we're going to continue to try to get more interaction between me and you with your comments, right? Comment on the topics as they come up, which means listen, pay attention, think, and write your thoughts. So I'll give you headlines. I'll give you my opinion, and I want to hear your thoughts, and Uman will throw them up there as we go through. Lots of topics, though. I'm not going to dwell on stuff too much. So Putin is exposing evil. He's exposing genocide and war profiteering. Putin has invited the international media and the Ukrainian media, not just one or the other, but everyone in the media has been invited to visit the war zone. That's right, folks. That's right. He wants everyone to come visit the war zone in Ukraine and see and talk to the thousands and thousands and thousands of Ukrainian troops that Russia has encircled and trapped. Why does Putin want to see that? Is he the one committing the war crimes? Is he the one committing genocide? Is he the one that's war profiteering? No. Why has Putin done this? Here is what Putin says. Why he's inviting media to look at what is going on with the Ukrainian troops. Quote, so the leadership of Ukraine can decide their fate. In other words, Putin wants the world via the media to see Zelensky leaving his troops trapped to be murdered for the World Economic Forum, murdered for the United States military-industrial complex, to see them murdered for NATO, the EU, Israelis, everybody that has an axe to grind in Ukraine. Putin wants the whole world to see that they are causing this to happen. They're allowing it to happen, and they're continuing to make it happen. You see, Russia, Putin, wants to suspend their military actions for, quote, several hours, end quote, with the express purpose of allowing journalists to talk to and interview Ukrainian troops and see the evil that is being perpetrated on them and the world. Unfucking believable, in my opinion. I'm glad Putin's doing this. Quite illustrative, is it not? I think it is. It's illustrative to show how fucked up they are, how they've been hung out to dry, how there's no real military leadership or strategy, how Russia is defeating them all. Now, will Ukraine media take him up on this? No. Zelensky won't allow that. Will the international media be allowed in? No. Why would Ukraine? Why would NATO, the EU, the United States of America, why would the intelligence services, the CIA, Mossad, Interpol, and MI6, why would they allow any media in there to show how these Ukrainian nationals are being slaughtered by the Russians? Imagine a wood chipper, a large industrial wood chipper, running at full blast, and people are standing at the door. They knock on it, the door opens, and they get shoved into the wood chipper. The next person in line knocks on the door, gets shoved into the wood chipper. The next person, knock on the door, door opens, gets shoved into the wood chipper. Thousands of Ukrainians every day are knocking because Zelensky is forcing them to. The door opens, they're thrown into the military wood chipper. Thousands every single day are dying. For what purpose? So that Zelensky, a piece of shit, who now is like the 10th largest landowner in the United States of America. Did you know that? Zelensky has purchased a massive ranch inside the United States of America in the heartland. Maybe Uman can help me with by writing this on the screen. It was either North Dakota, South Dakota, or Wyoming, or some such fucking state. It's an enormously huge ranch operation, corporation, and he bought it. With what money? Are you telling me he made so much money, Zelensky did, playing the piano with his little dick, that he can afford to become the 10th largest landowner in this fucking country? This is pure evil. He is being financially rewarded, Zelensky is, for sending his people in genocidal fashion into the military wood chipper known as the Russian army. What happens, world, when these world leaders all over the planet decide the same fate for you and me and our kids and grandkids? We want to fight a war, and you have to do it because of, government. Uman says Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky did not buy a ranch larger than Rhode Island and Wyoming, making himself the 10th largest landowner. Apparently was a bullshit story. Thank you, Mr. Uman, for straightening me out and the whole world. Apparently that was fake news, came out yesterday. I did not talk about it last night, but it's just been eating away at me. But he has now billions of dollars, according to other news sources over the last few years. He has skimmed billions of dollars, he and other Ukrainian officials. Zelensky owns immense properties in Florida, real multi-million-dollar houses, Florida, and other parts of the world. But I'm glad he doesn't own billions of dollars in U.S. property. Now, that said, he's still a pile of shit. He's still committing genocide, and I do believe he will be killed the moment he stops doing as he is told by his masters. I have no love. What do you guys think of that? What's on your mind? I'm telling you, it's just, for me, it's too much. It's fucking too much. I'm glad Putin did that, but what it did instantly was piss me off, because I know the military, I mean, the media of Ukraine will not be allowed in there, and the international media, which could go in and just film it all, interview people. They're not going to allow that. But Putin said, hey, we'll stop shooting, we'll stop killing, we'll stop everything for hours and hours and hours, so you guys can go in and see what the hell's happening. That story, folks, by the way, came via the RT news site. In other words, American media won't touch that with a 10-foot fucking pole. The Prepared Mind channel will talk about it. The European media will not touch that offer with a 10-foot pole, because the rest of the Europe are busy fighting off, Muslim grooming gangs, Muslim murder gangs, and just general fuckery in Europe caused by their politicians. Okay, well, I'm going to continue. Because President Trump and because Bimbo Bondi won't do their job and they won't arrest traitors, Barack Obama is in the public right now, and he is proposing anti-American, dastardly ideas for social media. Are you ready for the Obama quote? Quote, we're going to have to start experimenting with new forms of journalism. What he wants, folks, is, quote, government regulatory constraints. In other words, even more censorship. They're not stopping us enough with the censorship they have. And folks, I'm going to show you something that's been out since the 1980s. And since the 1980s, we've had the 90s, the aughts, the teens, and now half of the 20s. 35 plus years when this was created.
Have you any idea how successful censorship is on TV? Don't know the answer? Successful, isn't it?
That was satire from Max Headroom from the 1980s. And he talked about TV censorship. Since then, folks, they've lost control of how you and I communicate and how we get our information, our news, if you will. We have more than just television, more than just radio, more than just, magazines, periodicals, and newspapers. We have internet and, of course, our phones to communicate with each other. They need, as Obama said, to experiment. They have a need to experiment with new forms of journalism. Well, new forms of journalism, media sources, journalism. Well, they've already, used lies, trickery, propaganda, bullshit, fear as a form of journalism. What else do they have up their fucking sleeves, right? Well, I don't know what they've got up their sleeves. They want more censorship and silencing. They want more punishment. I don't know, maybe a central bank digital currency, a CBDC, maybe a central bank digital currency system will allow their government regulatory constraints to be tied to the forms of journalism that you listen to. The fucking evil, folks, is off the hook. That dick smoking piece of shit that is Obama is telling you exactly who they are. And folks, the Democrat commies are not quitting, they're not hiding, and they're not going away, are they? No, folks, they're here. And they're here to destroy or die trying. And if they are successful, if Trump and Pam Bondi who I am now going to call a new name, Bimbo Bondi, if they don't arrest these fucking people for treason, violations of their oaths, criminal malfeasance, criminal conspiracy, RICO fucking statutes, organized crime, in other words, if they don't arrest them, then you, me, and our children and our children's children are going to be their sacrifices. And by sacrifice, I mean dead, destroyed. Our freedoms, our wealth, our very lives are going to be sacrificed. I mean, it's bad enough. It's bad enough that we work our asses off and we pay taxes to the government and we have just enough money to put a little food on the shelves. Maybe, if you're lucky, just enough to buy a little bit of silver to try and save money, because you put money in the bank if you can save a little bit to make 2% interest, 3% if you're fucking lucky. Meanwhile, inflation is anywhere from 10 to 30%, depending on what you're purchasing. So saving money is no fucking good. We're barely we're fucking slaves. We're slaves for the masters of a plantation. We're not free. And that kills me to admit it, that I'm not free. I'm free to walk from here to there. Hell, I'm even free to get on a plane or a boat for a couple of days. I'm free to say what I want, kind of. I'm free to own firearms. Yes, I am. You see, that is the one thing that you and I have. The one thing that you and I have that they haven't taken, and they know it, and we know it, and we all know it. That's the one thing we have that's stopping these fucking cocksuckers, these evil bastards. What do you think? Am I wrong or right? I want to hear your thoughts. Get them into the comments, because not only will you help me, you're going to help others. Let's talk about it, Redneck Roughneck. He says the government needs to get back to its only two jobs: protecting our border and regulating interstate commerce. They need to be paid back on a per diem while in session and running on tariffs. You, my friend, have just pushed back the government into what is known as constitutional limitations, the U.S. Constitution. But, you know, this regulating interstate commerce, which was a big part of the Constitution, is called the Interstate Commerce Clause. It is also known as the long arm statute, right? In other words, anything that crosses a state line, all of a sudden the government goes, hey, we have the right to regulate that because of the Interstate Commerce Clause. Everything that is business is now interstate business. States like Montana said, well, wait a minute. If we manufacture our own firearms and they stay within the state, then the federal government has no authority, because there's no interstate commerce going on here. Well, the feds fucking hated that. Well, no, you buy the steel. You buy the steel for the guns, and therefore when you machine them, that's now an interstate, and now falls under federal jurisdiction. Even the Interstate Commerce Clause. See the word regulating that you've got right there is the correct word. That is the correct word, Redneck Roughneck. You are 100% on the spot. But here's the problem. What is the meaning of the word is? Well, it depends on what the definition of is. That's a Clinton quote. They have defined the word regulating as they have the authority in the government to tell you what to do. That's not what the word regulating means. To regularize it, to make it even, the same from state to state. Regulating doesn't mean they get to tell you yes or no, or charge you a fucking fee or a tax, or require a permit or license. That's what they think regulating means. Regulating means regularize. It can mean practiced, uniform, universal. They need to universally control interstate commerce. In other words, a state cannot tax another state or tax another person who is not in the state as a form of punishment or tariff. It was designed to not limit interstate conduct and commerce, but rather make it more free. It was a free market between states in the United States of America. That was the whole fucking purpose behind the Interstate Commerce Clause. Instead, the government has turned it into its personal authority, permission, and power to fucking tell everyone what to do, tax everyone, and stop people from doing what the government doesn't want. How about that shit? Right? Yeah. And as far as protecting our border, we've seen how that's worked out. They do what they want and tell the rest of us to fuck off while taxing the living shit out of us. I wish, Redneck Roughneck, there was a way to make government shut the fuck up and get back in its container. But the genie, known as government, is out of the bottle, working its magic formulas on us all. Unbelievable. Yep. I got to tell you, Bimbo Bondi, she's not done. Oh, no, she is not done. You want proof? You want more proof of Bimbo Bondi's failures? Thank you, Redneck Roughneck. You want more proof of Bondi's failures? And yes, even President Trump's failures? Think no further than this one topic. Auto pen evidence. Bimbo Bondi and President Trump refuse at this time to save America and to save the American people from evil. The same evil that is killing people in Ukraine is refusing to do its job here in the United States of America. Here's what I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give you some bullshit stuff I made up. I'm not going to give you some other radical patriots view or some international fool. I'm going to give you a statement from a United States congressman as evidence of Bimbo Bondi and Trump's failures. And it's not going to be a Democrat. It's going to be a Republican. He's not even a good Republican. He just comes out and tells us. Are you ready? Republican Representative James Comer stated on TV for all of the media. And he says this quote, prepare yourselves, folks. Quote, we've handed this, meaning the auto pen pardon evidence, the auto pen conspiracy evidence. Quote, we've handed this to Pam Bondi on a silver platter. We, quote, did all the heavy lifting. And I'm going to add, for her dumb, lazy bimbo ass. James Comer came out and demanded that Pam Bimbo Bondi, demanding she nullify, meaning erase from the record, take it away, nullify the auto pen pardons and executive orders, not just auto pen pardons, but auto pen executive orders signed by Joe Biden, because they weren't signed by Joe Biden. Because, folks, the oversight committee, the Republican oversight committee actually did its fucking job. And then they presented the information, the evidence of criminal conspiracy on part of the Biden administration to use the auto pen without the president's signature. And Pam Bondi has not lifted a fucking finger. No arrests. No nullification of pardons for Fauci, the January 6th committee, which lied, suborned perjury, manufactured evidence, destroyed all the evidence. Unfucking believable, folks. I am just disgusted today. Disgusted. I don't know how you feel, but I'm fucking disgusted with all of these people. Literally. And I just mentioned Fauci. Fauci was given an auto pen pardon. Where you at, Bimbo Blondie? Now, more Fauci news. Are you prepared for this shit? Probably not, unless you caught the story. The Tulane Primate Lab. Does anyone know what the Tulane Primate Lab is? I didn't know it. Well, apparently there was a fucking plane crash in Mississippi. And three, not one, not two, but three weaponized, disease-ridden monkeys have been released from the Fauci-funded Tulane Primate Lab. Plane crashes and 3 monkeys are on the loose. 3 monkeys who may or may not be weaponized, disease-carrying monkeys. How Fauci-esque of the National Institutes of Bad Health and the Centralized Disease Out of Control organization, right? Also known as the National Institutes of Health and the Centers for Disease Control. But it's more like the centralized diseases are out of control and the National Institutes of Bad Health. Those are government operations, folks. Didn't we have escaped monkeys years ago also? Because a fucking truck crashed? Monkeys all over the fucking place. Why isn't Fauci under arrest? Oh, that's right, because he has a pardon signed by nobody. A fraudulent pardon given to him. And even if there was no pardon, which we've been shown now and demonstrated, thank you, Congress, for giving this to Bimbo Bondi, but no arrests. He should be arrested for this, for the Wuhan COVID creations and leak, known as COVID-19, followed by, oh yeah, Fast and Furious. Shove that one right in her ass, right? Bullshit mRNA, Jim Jones juice, fucking VAXXXs, right? Fauci also tortured dogs by allowing them to be eaten alive over the course of weeks by maggots and parasites, but kept alive so he could study them. He should have been arrested for creating and expanding the bioweapon research labs that are all over the fucking planet. 29 of them were in Ukraine. These sites, folks, make bioweapons around the world. Fauci is an evil, evil piece of shit. But guess what? He works for other evil on this planet. Mikey G says, was the Ayatollah right? We are the great... No, it's a great question, Mikey. Ayatollah Khomeini, who the fuck knows Maney, of Iran. We are not the great Satan. Europe is not the great Satan. White people are not the great Satan. You want to know who are the great Satan? The people in charge. The people who have put themselves in positions of powers. They have lied, they have cheated, they have stolen, and they have murdered to get into those positions of power. In Israel, in England, in Europe, in America, in Canada, in Australia. Oh yeah, an evil inside of Iran got there by lying, cheating, thieving, stealing, and murdering. The fucking Ayatollah has no room to talk. His fucking regime and all of these radical Muslim fucks would murder you and me, take women and make them sex slaves in a fucking second if they had their way. I don't want to hear shit from the Ayatollah, but he has pointed out that there is a great Satan. What is a Satan? Satan, literally translated, means adversary. Satan equals adversary. Who is the great adversary? The people that are committing great acts of evil. That's who the great Satan is. Is Iran a good country? Well, it's a great country with a lot of great people in it, the Persians. But the Iranian government and their minions are evil. The European Union government is fucking evil as fuck, while European people are good. America, same story. Why is it we have an election every 2 years and we keep getting the same evil pieces of shit? Because they are evil. And if they're not, they're brought in, they're corrupted with drugs and pedophilia. And then those videos, which are taken by CIA, Mossad, MI6, oh yeah, I'll name the fucking names of the organizations. And if I had names of the individuals, I'd use those too. And then they hold those films. And then, well, they'll bring the person in and go, hey, come here. Look what we're going to show you here. Take a look at this on the screen. Oh, yeah, that's you having sex with an underage person. That's you shoving a bunch of cocaine up your fucking nose while you're doing it. You are now our bitch. Go back to work. And they go off. It's not complicated. Literally, it's not that complicated. Great topic, though, Mikey G. Thank you for bringing that up. It's not complicated to understand. What is complicated, what is difficult, is selling your soul for a little money and a lot of power, and then being forced to participate in this fucking show as a leader in these countries. They sell themselves out for so little to attack us, to kill us, to steal. You know, if you live in a nice state, in a nice neighborhood, around nice people, and you've got a nice job with a good income and a quality of life that's really okay, you're living in what the rest of the world thinks of as heaven, fantasy land. And even those people in those good towns with good neighborhoods and great neighbors, you better be fucking prepared. You better have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. You better have a means of self-defense. You better have a plan to understand not only the world around you, 10-mile radius. You need to understand everywhere else and what's going on. Like, there's no reason for me to talk about Putin or Zelensky or Xi Jinping or Kim Jong-un. There's no reason to talk about the dickheads in charge of Canada or the European Union or Australia and the American dickheads, because you can't just say, well, they're far away, so what's the difference? Because what they do affects us on a daily basis. What they do. And one of the big things they do is lie and deceive. Tom Homan, who works for ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, he came out and he projected this. He gave us a projection, not a prediction, but a projection on how many people he's going to deport by January. You know what the number is? 600,000. 600,000. Oh, by the way, under the Biden administration and the former Trump administration, do you realize that those administrations, even Biden, deported 200,000 people, 150,000 people, 250,000 people a month? They deported the fuck out of people, the same as Tom Homan. But they're sure making it sound like it's a big deal, aren't they? Like, oh my God, the world's going to end because of it. They're not doing anything more than normal, in all truth. Their deportation number needs to skyrocket. And that's exactly what Tom Homan has told us. 600,000 by January, and then he's promising that those numbers are going to skyrocket. Everyone buying that? How? How's it going to skyrocket? Why now? Is my question. Why is it now, after a year, going to skyrocket? Not months ago. You've had 10 months to make it skyrocket. Why now? What's changing? See, if I were on the fucking show, I could ask him these questions. I could hit him with some facts. Hey, I love you, Tom. I'm glad that you're enthusiastic, but you're really not doing much more, if any, than the other administrations. And now you're saying you're going to skyrocket the number? How? Why did you wait? What's taken so long? What's changed? Details. Give us details, not threats, not promises. Folks, wake up. Share this video. I'm fucking not kidding you. Share it. because I'm asking tough questions of all government. I'm not sucking up to and kissing the fucking shoes of Trump and kissing his ass and kissing the Republicans' ass. I'm not a fucking Democrat or a commie by any stretch. I'm an American, and I believe in the Constitution. I believe in my rights. I believe in my faith, and my faith says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The golden rule. What has that gotten me? Kicked in the nuts, kicked in the teeth, and kicked in the ass. Because we're all good people, and the government does this to us. They're not going to quit, folks. They're going to keep doing what they do. Literally, keep doing what they do. I want to give you something that Darcy T sent me. A social media influencer has died, and it was referred to as extremely sudden. Well, when you're 25 years old and you die, of course it's extremely sudden. Of course, no cause has been provided. The influencer's name is Ben Bader, Benbader, dead, age 25. Darcy says, this is being normalized. Yeah, the media, well, let me say this. The mainstream media, the government, all governments around the world are trying to normalize this now. Yeah, people die. Heart attacks have always happened. It's not uncommon. Well, no shit, it's not uncommon. Japan is coming out and saying the Jim Jones juice, mRNA, the VAXXX is a death sentence. There are now massive reports on social media about VAXs, not just the mRNA, not just the Jim Jones juice, but all vaccinations. The amount of shit they give infants, toddlers, children, teenagers is literally a toxic sludge. And it is responsible for more than autism and ADHD. It's more than responsible for some side effects and some allergies, a cough. No, all fucking diseases are tied. In fact, some doctors are saying vaccinations don't work at all. They don't do a fucking thing for you. We're just told to look around and go, well, there's no polio, so it must be the vaccine that's working. When in fact, polio has not been a problem for fucking decades anyways. So where is it? They're going to give something credit. It'd be like saying, John says he's God because an asteroid is controlled. All asteroids are controlled by him. And then people go, well, wait a minute. We haven't been hit by a major asteroid on this planet since John has been alive. John must be God because there's no asteroid impacts that have wiped out any life. So, Big Pharma comes out and says, we have cured the world of all these diseases, because people look around and go, yeah, there's none of these crazy diseases. There's no plague. There's no, right? And so everyone goes, they must be telling the truth. The absence of a problem doesn't mean those claiming credit for solving the problem actually did anything. But that's the fucking lie. That's the fucking lie that they tell. Because you pay taxes, the government can solve all our problems. There's another fucking lie. I look around and go, I see nothing but problems. Where does our tax money go? What fucking good does it do? You like roads, don't you? We pay for the roads. I mean, your tax money pays for the roads. Your tax money puts police on the corners. You know how many police I've seen today? 2. I'm going to keep myself all fucking worked up, I tell you. Today, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates again by a quarter point, 0.25% reduction. The market reacted not with excitement and jubilation, not with a, woo, we love modern monetary theory. Instead, it took a shit. It took a shit instead of happiness for cheap money. Even the investment banks aren't excited about what is going on. Wake up, look around, see what's going on, my friends. See what's going on. As you all know, Mr. Uman's in the background, having fun, checking stuff out, communicating with you guys. And I want to hear what you have to say about any and all of these topics. There are some serious fucking things going on. Just because we're not being shot, just because we're not being stabbed, just because we're not being locked down, just because you have this semblance of freedom and liberty, doesn't mean you're free with any liberty and that violence is not on track to fucking kill us all. This is not fear porn. This is what the fuck is happening. Remember, everything was fine until it wasn't with COVID and the lockdowns and then the mandates and the bullshit. Our country was fine with no fucking taxes until 1913. All of a sudden, it went from you're free to you owe the government for no fucking reason at all. And then that just took off. Oh, 1%. If you can take 1%, surely you'll tolerate a 2% tax. It's just 2%. Come on, man. It's temporary. Temporary. Kind of like the lockdown. Temporary. 2 weeks. Flatten the curve. 5% tax. Hey, if you can pay 2, surely you can deal with 5. Oh, we now have World War I. You're going to need more money. The government has to fund this industrialized scale of war. We need 10% taxes. Now, when you add federal, state, local, special, what the fuck? Fuel. You're paying over 60% of your money goes to pay taxes, my friends. Property tax, car tax, everything. Plus, plus tariffs. Incoming tariffs end up getting turned into higher costs because corporations don't pay taxes. They just add that tax bill onto the cost of goods. They want their fucking profit. Evidence? Proof? John, are you just making shit up? Look at CEO of company X, Y, and Z. CEO sits in a desk, in a chair, kind of like the chair I'm sitting in. He makes hard decisions. Hard decisions. Hard decisions based on years of corporate experience. And he gets 10 million, 50 million, $100 million a year for making hard decisions. I bring 30 years of experience to construction. I made some hard fucking decisions today. Very difficult decisions. My clients, my suppliers, my subcontractors, my coworkers all told me, John, we're glad you came back, man. We've been dying. We need you to make these fucking decisions. So I'm kind of like a CEO in a way, even though I don't own the company. I just work for them. CEOs don't own the company. They just work for them. But the wages I get are nearly in the fucking poverty class based on the amount of inflation and work that goes on. Am I complaining? No. Are we all in the same boat? More than likely. I know people that own manufacturing corporations and they put all their money, they risk every fucking penny they've got with their manufacturing corporations. 2 guys I can think of specifically. They risk all of their money. They pay a shit pile of taxes and they make very little amount of money. But when you're talking about running the world and screwing everyone over, that's how they do it. Tax the fuck out of you, pay themselves well for doing it. Let's continue. And folks, I'm all about capitalism and free markets. Uman says Amazon announced mass layoffs of 30,000 administrative employees they overhired during COVID-19. Right ahead of the holidays. That's right. The end of October. November and December are the holiday season. Right? And Uman writes, right ahead of the holidays, they fired the 30,000 layoff. Layoff sounds so much nicer than ass fucking people and firing them. Usually, they hire more people for these seasonal jobs. But guess what they're doing? Firing people. Administrative employees, oh, guess what? They're going to start firing warehouse employees, delivery employees because of automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence making the decisions for us, making the decisions for them. And it's not just Amazon, it's Microsoft. I'm sure Apple and other mega manufacturers, they find cheaper, easier, better, faster ways to make their products. And they hire fewer and fewer people to work for them. But they're not lowering the prices, are they? I remember the first smartphone was like $400. Uman, do you remember that? $400, $300, and we're like, what are you talking about, man? $300 for a fucking phone? I remember when my fucking non-smart Nokia phone was like $100. I'm like, $100? I had Motorola's also. Nextels with the push-to-talk click. It was bullshit. Everything's bullshit. But yeah, now what's a phone? $1,200, $1,300, $1,500. All while these people just lay everyone off and charge more. Now, again, I'm free market. If people are willing to pay that, well, fuck, that's your fault, right? But they put us in the situation. We've drank the Kool-Aid, and not everyone's awake. When are we all going to wake up, folks? Well, I think the Democrats are waking up. Get this. Let's run on into it some more. I talked and spoke about the Democrat Party having no platform. I've talked about this for a couple of years now, in fact. Their platform is abortion, illegal immigrants, giving your money away, and going to war with everyone they can. Killing babies, fucking up colleges, hating America, transgendering your kids, pushing the homosexual agenda on everyone, destroying corporations with diversity, equity, inclusion while they make bigger profits than ever, somehow, crashing planes, sinking ships, burning cars, failing bridges. You guys, if you want, you can call me Mr. Good News today. Anyways, that's the Democrat thing, and the Republicans aren't far behind. They're the Republican platform. Ready for this, Uman? Do nothing. Deny responsibility. Pretend like they don't have authority. Close their eyes. See no evil. Hear no evil. Speak about no evil. Fucking Republicans are enablers. That's their party platform. We're screaming, yeah, arrest. Yeah, cut taxes. Yeah, cut regulations. Yes, save America. And the Republican leadership's like, yeah, we're going to do those things right after we take another 6-week fucking paid vacation. So, the Washington Post came out and says that a lot of the Democrats are, quote, growing anxious about what is going to happen if Zoran, the communist Muslim Mamdani, wins. A victory by that piece of shit foreigner in New York City is going to be the death nail for their party. They're worried about what it's going to do. And, well, the Prepared Mind Network and you and me, we've already discussed the death of their party and the ascension of the authoritarian state and all of its hatred and destructive policies they want to put on us in America. I don't know if you guys have caught the last week or so. Even Bill Gates has admitted now. I think he's admitted. And I think he's actually being investigated for fraud. There can't be enough of that with respect to Bill Gates. Admitted that climate change is a fucking hoax. And this is not just an American observation. In Australia, in Europe, in Canada, people are looking and asking, what do we get? If we stop, if we eliminate our carbon footprint, what do we get for it? Nothing, because it's not going to change anything. It's not going to change the atmosphere. It's not going to clean anything by reducing our individual carbon footprint. Have you seen a city? Asphalt, concrete, buildings everywhere. But cows and cow farts are the problem. So they want to take your food. Unbelievable, folks. The Democrat Party, evil. Republican Party, evil. One does evil, one allows evil. Dirty bird. Okay, boy, I tell you, there's so much to talk about. I'm running out of time. I've got less than 10 minutes. You know, whatever you guys want to talk about, get it into the comment section. I know that we've got, well, problems with X, but here we go. Badass Diving Frog says, John, when you cut off all the money, all of your adversaries will show themselves with a spotlight when they start crying and bitching about how you have to give it up to them. Yeah. When you cut off all the money, what happened? They cut off you said money. Where did you said money go? Went to non-profit organizations like the Catholic Church. Yeah, you bet. And what did they do with that money? They sent in illegal immigrants into this country. They did. When they cut you said money off to non-government organizations, nonprofits that are run by people like George Soros, what did he do with that money? He funded anti-American protesters under the banner of Antifa, Black Lives Matter, etc. They cut off that money. They're screaming and yelling, just like all of the churches and other organizations that sent illegals into our country. Yeah, they're screaming and yelling. They're crying and bitching about how you and me and us, we have to give our money back to them. It's not nice to take it away. But they're in the spotlight screaming and yelling. If that's one thing that this administration has done is, and I haven't seen the books, I'm just going to have to say, allegedly cut their money off because now they're bitching and moaning and making accusations about it. We need to cut off money from Israel to American politicians. We need to cut off the money from Europe to American politicians. We need to cut off the money from corporations in America and around the world. Cut that money off from going to politicians, bureaucrats, lawyers, lobbyists. Is that going to happen? Hell no. We can't even get our own politicians to quit openly insider trading and giving business and corporations contracts and deals so that they can make billions of dollars. We don't get to benefit by it, but they do, these corporations, and the politicians do. And that, my friends, is known as crony capitalism or fascism, which is socialism combined with crony capitalism. Are you prepared for what's coming is the big question. Do you see how this is destroying our country? Do you see how the left is aggressively attacking our nation, the foundations, the infrastructure of freedom and liberty, our rights? Isn't it amazing how Obama flies to London all the time to get his marching orders and probably to give some marching orders on how to destroy themselves and how to destroy America? And isn't it funny how the Republicans, I'm only taking $10 or $20 million a year. I'm not the one destroying this country, say the Republicans, because they're only taking little bits. You add them all up and the aggregate amount is, they're taking billions of dollars. They're getting billions of dollars in insider trading, all of them, the fucking lot of them. You think congressmen don't tell their buddies in the bureaucracy? Hell, the fucking bureaucracy doesn't even pay taxes. We've heard now numerous organizations, including the Internal Revenue Service, their employees owe over billions of dollars in taxes that they're not paying. Why? Because they're above the law. We're supposed to believe that the Republicans are doing something. Well, listen to this. 2 prosecutors from the Justice Department who did January 6th persecutions, they have been placed on leave because they described the January 6th protest as a, quote, mob of rioters. See, accountability. It's happening, right? I'm waiting for Bimbo Bondi and Bug-Eyed Patel to make some real arrests, not symbolic bullshit gestures. We fired those people. We laid those people off. See, how dare you describe Americans as a mob of rioters? That'll teach you all while they take in their millions and their billions of dollars. I don't want symbolic gestures. The new name for Pam is Bimbo Bondi. A piece of shit. Even if she is smart, she's still a fucking bimbo. Look at her. Look at Cash Patel. He was given a bimbo so he can act like a bimbo. Yeah, I'm going after everybody. Got one eye fucking fishing, one eye squirrel hunting. Dude, you can't afford to get that shit fixed. It's like they're pissing down our backs and telling us it's raining. Wait till they pull the plug, folks. Wait till they pull the fucking plug. Who's Your Life says the duty of a true patriot is to protect the people from the government. It's a quote from Thomas Paine. You know who used to also do quotes all the time? Mr. Skylight. Mr. Skylight used to do quotes on Sunday Night Live. Mr. Skylight is extremely busy, just like the rest of us. Mr. Skylight is doing his job, and he does support the Prepared Mind channel, but I do like his Sunday night things. Yeah. The duty of a true patriot. So, folks, is Pam Bondi, a.k.a. Bimbo Bondi, is she a patriot? To find the equation, you have to look at the other side. Protect the people is what patriots do. So if you're not protecting the people, you're not living up to the term patriot. Is Cash Patel? Is Trump? Are they protecting the people from the government, from other governments, from evil? Right? A true patriot, I would say, also protects people from evil, no matter where it comes from, whether it's foreign or domestic, which is why we have the oath. Right? I swear to protect the government, the Constitution, the people from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So I guess that makes us true patriots on here because we're waking people up and notifying and alerting them that the government is fucking evil. It is funding and supplying arms and weapons to run these wars. I'm a fucking Marine. We're trained to kill communists. We're trained to follow orders that are legitimate. We're trained to protect America with our own lives, just like every soldier, every sailor, every airman. Right? That's the oath. Every cop. The question is, are the cops, airmen, sailors, soldiers, and Marines doing that? Are they being allowed to do that? Or are they being told to do something else and held back? The Justice Department, where's the justice for all of the children raped on Epstein's Islands? Where's the justice? That's a hoax. Oh, get this. I'm gonna end on this. A royal biographer in England is predicting that the British royal family, the Windsor family, will, quote, will throw Prince Andrew under the bus. Prince Andrew, of course, has been good buddies with Epstein, involved with Epstein. Virginia Giuffre was one of his victims. But they're saying that the royal family is going to throw him under the bus and that he, quote, may well go to prison, end quote, even. Wait. The Epstein crimes are a hoax. That's what Trump told us. Well, if the royal family sacrifices one of their own, Prince Andrew, can't we admit the crimes and sacrifice? Can't we admit the pedophilia crimes and sacrifice a few billionaires here in the United States, a few billionaires in the European Union, and a few billionaires from Israel too, can't we? It's not a hoax. It never was a hoax. It was always real. But politicians are owned, and they're controlled by the CIA, by the Illuminati, which is corporations, billionaires, aristocrats, and other, shall we say, clandestine intelligence services like MI6, Mossad, and the CIA. I want to protect the people from all forms of evil, not just government evil, but all forms. Because our government is no longer government for the people, by the people, and of the people. It is now a government owned and controlled for and by foreign interests. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Godspeed. Get prepared. Go to thepreparedmind.club, CLUB. Share this video with others. Tell them to listen and wake up. It's no shit time.